And that's pretty much how I started my YouTube channel. Pretty cool, hey man. So yeah, I'm getting some good subscribers, and oh, actually, Cartman, do you want to subscribe to my channel? Cartman?
You think this is funny, you son of a bitch?
Oh mate, it's only messing around. Okay. Well, anyway, so I'm thinking of doing a review of the new, the old South Park Stick of Truth game. You know, it's been out for a few years now, so I'm not sure if anyone's really going to be that interested in it. You know what I'm saying, Cartman? Yeah. You know what I'm saying, man? Yeah. So I just wish someone would give me a sign or something, just so I could get. Oh shit! What? Look at that fucking sign. Ah, stuff it. I'm doing the review, mate. Look, come and have a look at this. Oh shit, Nazi zombie cats! What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of marc-e-b's Gaming C. Now, in today's episode, as you have probably guessed, lovely little South Park review for you here. This is South Park Stick of Truth PlayStation 4 version. Really glad I finally got a chance to jump into this game. I didn't really get a chance to play it over on the PlayStation 3 because I'd already bought my PS4 at the time, and other games just stacked up and got the better of me. When I found out that Ubisoft were offering the Stick of Truth free to all of those who pre-order or even buy, I think, their new game, which is coming out on the 6th of December, The Fractured Butthole, you get... This is quality. I mean, usually I would feel about a bit funny about these kinds of things, you know, like companies, it's tactics to get pre-orders, it's tactics to kind of push the sale of their next game, but I think this game stands out on its own merits. Nobody is going to be pre-ordering the next South Park game just to play the first. I mean, it's only a bonus to get the first one thrown in for the PlayStation 4. Finally, we've got it. If you bought the physical copy, you will still get a version, but you will have to wait to receive 2 physical copies of the Stick of Truth and the Fractured Butthole. I pre-ordered the digital. It's a tiny bit more expensive. I think it's £6 or £7 more expensive over here, but I did it for the opportunity to be able to download Stick of Truth right now, so I can jump in, play it, enjoy it for the next kind of, 5-6 months or so before the next game comes out, and I was completely content with doing that. Good value for money. We're gonna kick this off now.
Nothing to be concerned with here. Absolutely nothing out of the ordinary is going on. We're simply getting ready for the grand opening of a new Taco Bell. New Taco Bell opening soon. Very big Taco Bell. It's gonna open in a few weeks. Thank you. Will this Taco Bell be serving enchiladas? What?
Story. So, what can I say? Fairly standard, wacky, crazy, off-the-wall South Park storyline here. If you're a fan of the TV show, which I'm sure you are if you're watching this review or following anything about the South Park games, it's a straight transfer. I think it's really great. The game's been written by Trey Parker and Matt Stone, so you've got the top guys working on this. This isn't kind of like a third party team just trying to recreate what these guys do. This is the South Park guys making the game with Ubisoft. It's absolutely smashing. It's basically, without giving away spoilers, it's based around 2 fighting factions who are battling to gain control of, you guessed it, the Stick of Truth.
You can't hold the doorknob, Bard. That's cheating. Yeah, I can. I have the Stick of Truth, which means I control the universe, and I say holding the doorknob is okay. Can he do that?
He has the Stick of Truth. He can do what he wants.
Damn it! There's got to be another way into this room.
This fucking game. Like, there's crazy ass storylines in here, but it's all reflective of the TV show. All your characters are here. They're all voiced by the original cast. It's brilliant. It just oozes quality. The best way I could really describe it, it's about a 15-hour long campaign. It's effectively, instead of sitting down and watching 15 hours worth of South Park, so that may be a season, you're effectively getting to play it. You're playing a season of South Park, and it's brilliant. It's really, really well done. Now, with some RPGs, you can find it gets a bit grindy sometimes. You have to battle a lot of enemies, level yourself up a bit before progressing on to the next stage of the game. There's none of that here. It's a very short campaign. It's only 15 hours to take you from start to finish. You have a level cap which isn't very high. It almost feels like it's like an RPG / platformer. You know, there's never kind of sections of the game where you just have to be consistently grinding in order to progress on to the next. You can play from start to finish, absolutely no problem. And I think the game is better for it. I think the game is better for it because it's consistent, it keeps the storyline flowing, it keeps you interested, and it stops you, worrying about the grind, because in some RPGs, in some of the best RPGs, you can pump hours and hours of just looping around the same enemies, just trying to kind of get your characters level up to get a special ability. South Park has everything thrown in. You've got great attacks. You have to we'll get onto that in the gameplay. Let's talk about the graphics.
Well, is it going to be a full menu Taco Bell, or is this going to be one of those Taco Bell KFC combos? We got a guy out here asking a lot of questions. Just stick to the script as laid out in the protocol. But he wants to know if the Taco Bell will have enchiladas or not, sir. Damn it, we don't have a contingency for that. Michaels, isolate and neutralize the threat. Yes, sir.
Well, there's very few, kind of TV, movie, franchise crossovers that go into the gaming world that can stand up against big AAA titles. These developers that can pump out almost like realistic looking graphics. If you kind of look at the PT demo and little things like that, it can be a really hard balance trying to do that kind of crossover game on a budget and make it work. With South Park, you don't have to worry about that. It's a cartoon. I mean, the original animation, while I am not discrediting the animation of the TV show at all, I think it's fantastic, and that's exactly what it needs to be like to have that comedy and that humour that it does have. But to convert that over to consoles is a piece of piss. I'm saying I'm fairly confident they could have done this last gen. They did do it last gen. It was for PlayStation 3. Heck, they maybe could have even stretched this out and done it for PlayStation 2, but that's completely irrelevant. It looks just like the cartoon. You're not playing something that feels slightly off, that looks a bit different. The characters don't feel right, they don't move right, they don't sound right. Everything here is South Park. It's just brilliant. I can't really say much more about the graphics. This is the look of South Park, and it's the feel of South Park, and it's just awesome. I love it. Really love it.
Look, it's a simple question. If this is going to be a huge Taco Bell, will it serve enchiladas? I think we have a right to know.
Mark?
Folks, we know you're all very excited, but for your safety, we ask you stay clear of the construction site.
Mark?
After everything that I've talked about with regards to your story, your script writing, the graphics, how the game looks, that can count for nothing. Absolutely nothing if the gameplay is shit. And it's usually the one thing that these movie, TV to game conversions tend to do really fucking bad, is the gameplay. Thankfully, Ubisoft have worked closely with the guys and they've managed to create a cracking game. I really, really like the gameplay style. It's turn-based combat, so it feels old school RPG style, but there's loads of lovely little elements thrown in there. You've got the X button, which you have to use to block every single time an enemy attacks you, so you constantly on your guard. Even when your enemy's throwing attacks at you, you have to make sure that you can time that block nicely in order to like lessen the damage that may come to you. When you attack the enemies, it's not just a simple case of picking a weapon and then selecting your target. There's lots of little quirks that you have to do. It's almost like a bit QTE style, but not so much. But it's kind of like, to perform a special attack, press up on the L stick and then hit X at the very right time, and depending on how well you execute all of those attacks, it will do more damage to the enemies, which is really, really cool. Everything's here, so you've got buffs, you've got buffs that you can get your attack up, you can put your enemy's defense down, you can make your enemies bleed, you can make your enemies sick. It's all done in glorious South Park fashion, so it's not just an enemy being defense down. You might be able to gross them out by farting or throwing a shit at them. You can go to the toilet, crap out a turd, pick that up as an item, throw it at an enemy and make them feel sick, and it's great. It just has all the kind of little South Park quirks in it, and the fact that they've managed to create the gameplay around the style of South Park, I think is really, really commendable. I think it was probably harder to do than what it actually looks, and I'm really thankful they did it in that way. Like I said kind of back in the story section, not so much in the way of grinding throughout this game, and to be honest, I kind of feel it's a platformer. It's also a platformer as well as an RPG. You could almost split it down the middle and say this is 50% RPG and 50% platforming, because as you gain special abilities and start using them in different areas, you can unlock other platforms by using abilities as you gain them throughout the game, without trying to really spoil anything for you. The game encourages you to explore, but the exploration is always done on a platforming level, finding little bridges, and if there's something blocking the way, you got to find your way around it, or maybe you could use one of your actions to destroy a barrier to finally get through it. And they're actions which you can all use outside of combat. So apart from your main heavy attacks, you can swing your weapon, you can fart, you can interact, you can use some of your abilities outside of combat. And also they've done a really, really cool thing where you can actually avoid fights altogether if you just look at your surroundings a bit, and they really put this in there a lot more than what it initially seems. Whenever you come to face enemies, just take a look at your surroundings, because chances are there's going to be something where you could just use the your surroundings to knock out an enemy or kill an enemy. And I think that's a really clever way. It kind of gels the turn-based RPG against this almost platforming style which you get to experience outside of the game. So kudos on that one, guys.
Secure the entire building! Put that woman in restraints!
Ah!
What's going on? Taco Bell security. Your clinic is infected with the Nazi zombie virus. Nazi zombies? That's ridiculous! And bigoted! I happen to be German. He's one of them!
Final verdict for this game is brilliant. I'm gutted I waited this long to try the game out, but at the same time I'm thankful that Ubisoft have thrown this in as a bonus for those who pre-order, because not only have I would happily pay 55 quid for this game. I'd pay it up front right now for that game alone, but I've got now the brand new game already in the bag, ready to play, and I already feel like I've got my money's worth. Really good job, Ubisoft. I hope that the second game is as good. If I will take a minute to put some sort of criticism to the game, to be honest, I would say that maybe I would be worried about the level of content that they might try and fit into this new South Park game. Effectively, you've explored everything and all the areas and locales in the game that you can do, bar maybe a few new characters and a couple of locations within the later series which weren't created when Stick of Truth came out. I'm a bit concerned as to how they, will try and mix up the game, and will they change the locations of everything around, like the houses and the school and the police station, all that kind of stuff, or are they going to keep it the same and just try and make the storyline a lot better and a lot more different and varied, so that you're more kind of intrigued on that side. It will be very interesting to see, because this is kind of one of the very few examples of where the new game is going to have to rehash a lot of old stuff. I think we're going to be alright, if they can go through 11 or 12 seasons of cartoon and still make that shit funny, I'm sure the game is going to be absolutely the same. The final verdict for this game, it's going to be an 8.9625. It's absolutely brilliant, guys. You will know in my previous videos, if you've watched them, that I'm not a big fan of microtransactions. I really hate it when companies try and bottleneck you into buying a piece of DLC or something just in order to unlock something else within the game. This is completely warranted. If you haven't played the Stick of Truth yet, you have an opportunity to play it for free as long as you pre-order and pay for the next game. Is it worth it? 100% yes. If you're a fan of South Park, you will not be disappointed. And like myself, you will pay that money happily time over just for the Stick of Truth. Other than that, I'll see you on the next show.
It's gone. What? The Stick of Truth. The elves got it. That was your one goddamn job, Clyde! To guard the Stick of fucking Truth!